Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into a fascinating topic for all coin collectors and enthusiasts out there, especially for those of you with a keen interest in American currency. We're talking about the 1995 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin and why it's causing such a stir in the numismatic world. Now, most of us have probably held or seen a quarter in our lifetime, but the 1995 P Mint Mark quarter is no ordinary coin. Some of these coins have been known to fetch an astounding price, one that many might not expect. Believe it or not, there are reports of this coin reaching values as high as $1 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? But let's break it down together and see how this quarter is more than just pocket change. To understand the rarity and value of the 1995 P quarter, let's first take a step back and talk about the Washington quarter's history. This coin, featuring the image of George Washington, has been in circulation since 1932. Over the years, it's undergone several design changes, but one thing has remained constant. It's been a symbol of American currency. The 1995 version, which bears the P Mint mark, was struck in Philadelphia. Unlike the older quarters, which were sometimes made of silver, the 1995 P quarter is composed of copper nickel clad, making it somewhat common in terms of material. But as with many coins, its value isn't always about what it's made from. Sometimes it's about how rare and unique a particular coin is. So, what makes the 1995 P Mint Mark Washington quarter stand out? While the coin itself may seem ordinary to the untrained eye, it's one of those rare instances where a coin's value is driven by factors beyond its face value. The typical 1995 P quarter is worth 25 cents. That's what you'd find in your pocket or in your change jar. But here's where it gets interesting. Some of these quarters have been found to have a specific defect or error, making them exceptionally rare and valuable. One of the most notable errors involves a die crack or an off-center strike, which can make the coin worth far more than the usual quarter. In fact, there have been reports of certain 1995 P quarters, in perfect condition or with a rare minting error, being valued at anywhere from several $100s to upwards of $1 million in certain instances. That's right, $1 million. This rare phenomenon has caused a lot of buzz in the coin collecting community, with collectors scrambling to find and purchase these special quarters. As with any collectible item, rarity is a key factor in determining value. The 1995 P Washington quarter isn't rare on its own. However, when you factor in minting errors, such as doubling, off-center strikes, or the presence of unique die marks, the coin becomes something that not everyone has. This rarity makes it highly desirable to collectors who are looking to complete their collections with hard-to-find pieces. As with any collectible, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. Coins that are in pristine condition, meaning they have little to no wear and are free of scratches, dents, or discoloration, are much more valuable than those in poor condition. A 1995 P Washington quarter in gem quality or uncirculated condition can fetch a premium price. The demand for rare coins has only increased over the years. Coin collectors, investors, and history buffs alike are always on the lookout for rare and valuable coins, and when they hear about a coin like the 1995 P Washington quarter, they're eager to get their hands on it. Now, let's talk about the P Mint mark. The P stands for Philadelphia, the mint where the coin was struck. What makes the 1995 P quarter unique, compared to other years, is that this was one of the few years where the Philadelphia Mint used the P Mint mark on quarters. While the P Mint mark isn't that unusual, it's an important detail when it comes to rare coins. Coins minted at different mints across the United States often have small differences in their strikes and their markings. Some collectors look for coins from specific mints, and the 1995 P quarter is one that stands out in particular for its potential errors and rarity. So, How can you get your hands on a 1995 mint mark Washington quarter? Well, they're still out there, circulating in everyday change. But keep in mind that the chances of finding $1 million coin in your pocket are slim, though not impossible. Many of these rare coins are found when people sort through their spare change, look through coin rolls, or even search through boxes of coins at estate sales or yard sales. If you do find a 1995 quarter that you think might be valuable, your next step would be to get it professionally graded. Professional grading services can assess the condition of the coin, its rarity, and its potential value. Depending on the grade and any rare minting errors, a coin that seems like just another quarter could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even $1 million. In conclusion, the 1995 mint mark Washington $quarter coin might just look like any other quarter you've come across, but for the savvy collector, it could hold immense value. Whether it's due to a rare minting error, its pristine condition, or the general rarity of the coin, this quarter has earned its place in the spotlight. So, keep an eye out the next time you're holding a handful of change, as that simple quarter could be worth much more than you expect. Thanks for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Happy collecting, and remember, sometimes the most valuable treasures are hidden in plain sight. We're diving deep into one of the most intriguing coins in American numismatics, the 1965 Washington $quarter, and more specifically, the ones that lack a mint mark. This little piece of history might just surprise you, so stay tuned. To start, let's talk about the Washington quarter itself. Introduced in 1932, the quarter is a staple of U.S. currency. The design, featuring George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, has been fairly consistent for decades. However, things got interesting in 1965 when something unusual happened, something that would later spark a great deal of interest among collectors and investors. Now, the 1965 Washington quarter was issued as part of a major change in the U.S. coinage system. For the first time in history, the United States government decided to eliminate silver from its coinage. Instead of the usual 90% silver composition, the quarters of 1965 were made of a copper-nickel-clad metal, which brought about a shift in the coin's value and collecting appeal. But there's more to the story, especially when it comes to those without a mint mark. Normally, U.S. coins carry a mint mark indicating where they were struck, either in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But in 1965, the U.S. Mint made a crucial decision. They stopped adding mint marks to most coins. That means no D for Denver or S for San Francisco appeared on 1965 quarters. The lack of mint marks on these coins initially raised eyebrows. In fact, it wasn't immediately clear why this change occurred, but it had a significant impact on their rarity. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. While most 1965 quarters are relatively common, a few rare ones have come to light, and these are the ones without a mint mark, struck in Philadelphia. At the time, the Philadelphia Mint produced these coins, but they were not stamped with the usual P mint mark, as was the case for other coins produced in Philadelphia before and after 1965. The lack of this mint mark makes these coins incredibly rare. So, why are collectors so interested in these specific 1965 Washington quarters? Well, they represent a kind of mistake or anomaly in coin production. For years, collectors were unsure whether these coins even existed. Many assumed that all 1965 quarters would be struck with either a Denver or San Francisco mint mark. But in recent decades, these rare unmarked Philadelphia coins began to surface, catching the attention of numismatists and coin enthusiasts alike. The value of a 1965 Washington quarter without a mint mark can vary, depending on its condition, but in general, it's been steadily increasing. Some of these coins, in perfect or near-perfect condition, have been sold for impressive sums at auctions and through private sales. The demand for these rare, unmarked coins is part of what drives their market value up. Now, if you're sitting down with your change jar and thinking you might have one of these rare coins tucked away, it's important to understand that the 1965 no-mint mark quarters aren't easy to find. They aren't just hiding in your pocket change. The chances of finding one are slim. But if you do, you may have just stumbled upon something truly valuable. So, what's the current market value of these 1965 no-mint mark quarters? Well, as of recent years, these coins have become highly sought after, with some examples fetching as much as $1.1 million at auctions. Yes, you heard that right, $1.1 million for a single coin. Of course, this would be for a coin in near-perfect condition, perhaps graded by professional services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. The market for rare coins is driven by collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for something truly unique, and the 1965 Washington quarter with no mint mark is as unique as they come. It's important to note that this $1.1 million price is an extreme example, rare, but possible under the right circumstances. Most unmarked 1965 quarters will be worth significantly less, but they can still fetch impressive sums, particularly in good or excellent condition. The real key is understanding the coin's rarity and condition. Coins that have been well preserved, with little wear, will always be more valuable than those that have been worn down over time. To verify if you have a 1965 Washington quarter with no mint mark, you'll need to check the obverse side of the coin closely. While the absence of a mint mark might seem obvious once you know what you're looking for, it's easy to overlook. Remember, this is the 1965 quarter, so you should already expect it to have no mint mark. But what you want to check for is whether it comes from Philadelphia. If you happen to find one in near-perfect condition, you might want to consider having it professionally graded to ensure you're getting the most accurate valuation. In conclusion, the 1965 Washington quarter without a mint mark is one of those hidden gems in the world of numismatics. Though not every 1965 quarter is worth a fortune, those without a mint mark are exceedingly rare, and their market value can be immense. Whether you're a collector or an investor, keeping an eye on these coins could be a wise move. If you happen to find one, you might just find yourself holding onto a coin worth a lot more than you ever expected. Thank you for joining me today, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's most fascinating coins, be sure to like and subscribe for more insights into the world of rare and valuable coins. If you're a coin enthusiast, history buff, or just someone interested in the hidden gems of American currency, today's video is for you. We're going to take a deep dive into a coin that might just be sitting around in your collection or even in your pocket right now, the 1994 mint mark Washington quarter dollar. Now, we all know that not every coin from our pocket change is going to be worth a fortune. But believe it or not, some coins, including the 1994 Washington quarter, could fetch big money. In fact, the rarest of these coins has been valued at over $1.2 million in the right circumstances. Let's talk about why and how that could happen. First, let's back up a bit and talk about the Washington quarter itself. This iconic coin was first minted in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. The design, created by sculptor John Flanagan, has stood the test of time. The obverse features a portrait of Washington, and the reverse, which has undergone several minor design changes over the years, prominently displays an eagle. Now, by the 1990s, the Washington quarter was in its modern form, with the reverse design still showcasing an eagle. And while the coin's design may not have changed much over the years, the demand and the rarities have certainly shifted, making some coins from this era quite valuable. Now, let's talk specifically about the 1994 mint mark Washington quarter. This quarter was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and like most modern quarters, it was intended to circulate widely and be used in everyday transactions. However, it wasn't just any run-of-the-mill coin. If you've heard of rare mint errors or specific coins with unusual characteristics, you know that these are the ones that can make collectors go wild. The key to the 1994p quarter's value lies in its rarity and the unique errors that occurred during its production. You see, in the world of numismatics, a mint error is when a coin is struck improperly, whether that's a misalignment, an overstrike, or some other form of imperfection. These errors can make certain coins far more valuable than they were ever intended to be. For the 1994p Washington quarter, there are certain cases where the coin has been found with striking errors that make it much rarer than others. These coins, which may have been part of a limited batch or struck incorrectly, can lead to a significant increase in value. Now, here's where things get really interesting. If you're thinking a regular 1994p Washington quarter is worth millions, you might be mistaken. But there are certain rare examples, particularly those that show minting errors, that have sold for astronomical prices. In fact, a particular 1994p Washington quarter with an extremely rare double die reverse error was sold for over $1.20 million. What makes this coin so special? Well, this rare specimen features a double strike that creates an additional, subtle image of the eagle on the reverse side, giving it an unusual and highly sought-after appearance. Coins with this type of error are incredibly hard to come by, and because they were released by the U.S. Mint in such limited quantities, their market value has skyrocketed. So, you might be wondering, does this mean your 1994p Washington quarter is worth $1.2 million? Unfortunately, probably not. However, that doesn't mean your coin isn't valuable. The good news is that many coins from this era still hold value, especially those in excellent condition, or those with potential errors that are still unrecognized. If you happen to have a 1994p quarter, take the time to inspect it closely. Look for any abnormalities, such as overstrikes, off-center strikes, or any signs of double dies. If you think your coin might be one of the rare specimens, it could be worth getting it appraised or even sent to a professional grading service to see if it's something special. While most 1994p Washington quarters are still valued at their face value of 25 cents, the market for rare coins like this has seen a surge in recent years. If your coin has one of those unique errors, it could fetch hundreds, thousands, or even more. The key is rarity, condition, and whether or not it has any mint errors that set it apart from the average coin. For those of you watching who may not have a rare 1994p quarter, don't be discouraged. There are plenty of other coins, both modern and vintage, that could hold significant value. And the good news is that the world of coin collecting is more accessible than ever, thanks to online auctions, grading services, and dedicated collectors' communities. To wrap things up, the 1994p Mint Mark Washington quarter is an interesting coin for collectors. While most may only be worth their face value, the rare errors found on some of these coins can increase their value dramatically, with certain specimens reaching $1.2 million or more. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, it's worth keeping an eye on your change, as you might just have a hidden treasure on your hands. Thank you for joining me today, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. And of course, feel free to share any cool coin discoveries you've made in the comments below. If you've got your hands on a certain coin from the 50 State Quarters program. Yes, you guessed it. We're talking about the 2008p Mint Mark Arizona $quarter. And let me tell you, this little coin has quite the story to tell. In 1999, the United States Mint launched the 50 State Quarters program. This was a monumental move in coin history because, for the first time, the Mint began releasing a series of quarters, each representing a different state. Over the course of 10 years, 5 states were honored each year, and that brings us to 2008, the year Arizona was showcased on the quarter. Each coin was minted to commemorate the unique history, culture, and heritage of the states they represented. The Arizona coin, in particular, stands out because it features one of the most iconic symbols associated with the state, the Grand Canyon. This was no ordinary quarter. It was a piece of art, a representation of the awe-inspiring beauty of nature. Reverse side of the 2008 Arizona quarter features the Grand Canyon, a massive symbol of the state, with a brilliant sunrise casting light over its vast landscape. The inscription reads, Grand Canyon State, and it includes the year Arizona became a state, 1912. It's a reminder of the rich history of the American West, and to coin collectors, it is a piece of history itself. The obverse, as usual, shows George Washington's portrait. It's the classic design you'll find on all quarters minted since 1932, but the reverse is where things get interesting for collectors, and especially those who know about the rarity of the 2008 Mint Mark Arizona quarter. Now, let's get to the heart of today's discussion, the 2008 Mint Mark Arizona quarter. This coin was minted in Philadelphia, which is indicated by the PE Mint mark. While most of the coins from the 50-state quarters program have been relatively easy to come by, this one stands out because of its unique and limited production. In 2008, the U.S. Mint had already been cranking out these state-themed quarters, but there was something special about the Arizona coin. Due to a certain error in production, a small number of these quarters were made with unusual characteristics that are causing them to be worth far more than face value. Some of these quarters were produced with a mistake that resulted in a rare variety, and that's where the market value starts to get really interesting. So, why is the 2008 Mint Mark Arizona quarter worth so much now? Well, in some cases, these rare quarters are being sold for staggering prices. How does a quarter that was originally worth 25 cents end up being worth over $1 million? First, we need to understand what makes these particular quarters so valuable. One of the most famous varieties is the double die Arizona quarter. The double die error occurs when the die used to stamp the coin is misaligned, causing the design to appear doubled on the coin. If you closely examine the Arizona quarter from this particular year, you'll see the doubling, especially around the letters and details in the Grand Canyon design. Now, while the majority of 2008 Arizona quarters are not double die coins, the few that are have fetched astronomical prices at auction. In fact, the most famous of these errors was sold for an astonishing $1.3 million. This sale has created a buzz in the numismatic world and has caused collectors to dig deep into their collections, hoping to find one of these rare coins that could lead to a similar windfall. You might be asking, how can I tell if I've got one of these rare Arizona quarters? It's actually quite simple once you know what to look for. The key feature to look for on a double die Arizona quarter is the doubling in the design. Check out the lettering, particularly in the words Grand Canyon State and along the rim. If the design appears to be doubled or blurry, you might just have a winner on your hands. Additionally, if you come across a coin with a very strong, clear doubling of the design, especially around the top of the letters or the Arizona date, you could be holding a coin worth far more than you ever imagined. As you might expect, the market for these rare quarters is heating up. Coin collectors around the world are hunting down the 2008 Mint Mark Arizona quarter, hoping to score one of the incredibly rare double die errors. And with the price tag for a coin like this soaring into the millions, it's no wonder that even casual collectors are starting to pay attention. So, in summary, the 2008 Mint Mark Arizona quarter is more than just a commemorative coin. It's a piece of numismatic history that's creating big waves in the market. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just starting to dip your toes into the world of numismatics, keep an eye out for this one. If you're lucky enough to have one of these rare coins in your collection, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Who knows, it could be your lucky day. We're diving into the fascinating world of coin collecting. focusing on the 1989 Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin. This coin is one of those rarities in the world of numismatics that can absolutely take you by surprise, particularly when you learn about its value in today's market. Now, let's start with some basic background on the coin itself. The Washington Quarter, first released in 1932 to honor the first President of the United States, George Washington, has gone through various design changes over the years. The 1989 quarter, however, is significant for a few key reasons. The P Mint mark stands for the Philadelphia Mint, and it's important because, for years, quarters with a P Mint mark were not very common. Before 1980, quarters from the Philadelphia Mint didn't even have a mint mark. But in 1980, the U.S. Mint began putting the P Mint mark on quarters produced in Philadelphia. So, the 1989 P Mint mark quarter was struck there, and it's not particularly rare in terms of production. In fact, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of these quarters. So, why is this specific coin so valuable today? It's not just about the quantity, but the condition, the rarity, and the luck of the draw that brings certain quarters into the spotlight. Over the years, certain 1989 P Mint mark quarters have been found in extremely high grades, meaning they have little to no wear, crisp details, and bright luster. When a coin is in excellent condition, collectors place a premium on it. This is where things start getting interesting. The market for rare and high-grade coins has been increasing steadily, and the 1989 P quarter has caught the attention of collectors and investors alike. But even more incredible is that a select number of 1989 P Mint mark Washington quarters have been graded as Mint State 67 or higher. This is essentially the perfect grade in coin collecting. These coins are so pristine, they might as well have just been struck yesterday. And it's these rare, high-grade coins that have recently sold for record prices at auctions. And here comes the jaw-dropper. As of recent sales, a high-grade 1989 P Mint mark Washington quarter has sold for upwards of $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $1.5 million for a coin that, in terms of production, is not considered rare. But when you factor in the rarity of finding a high-grade specimen and the growing interest in rare coins as investments, this particular quarter has become a highly sought-after item. Now, let's break that down. Why is this quarter worth so much? First, it's about the rarity of finding a coin in such excellent condition. The vast majority of 1989 P quarters are not in Mint State 67 or higher, so when one does pop up in such pristine form, it creates a bidding frenzy. Think of it like finding a rare baseball card or an original painting by a famous artist. Its value is driven up because of its rarity and desirability. Second, coins like this are more than just a piece of currency. They're a tangible piece of history. Holding a coin in your hand that was struck over 3 decades ago and is now worth such an astronomical sum is a reminder of how time can transform something ordinary into something extraordinary. For collectors, owning a coin like this is not just about its financial value. It's about owning a part of American history. Let's take a step back and consider what makes the 1989 P Washington quarter such an incredible example of the intersection between coin collecting and financial investment. Collectors and investors alike look for coins that are not only rare, but have historical significance. A Washington quarter, with its timeless design, is not just a coin. It's a tribute to one of the most influential figures in American history. Add in its minting from the Philadelphia Mint, and you have a piece that tells the story of America's coinage evolution. For those of you out there who are wondering, how can you tell if your 1989 P quarter might be worth something? It's all about the condition. If your quarter looks like it just came out of the mint, with no visible wear, scratches, or discoloration, you might just have something special. It's always a good idea to have it professionally graded by a reputable numismatic service, especially if you suspect it could be a high-grade coin. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with this. While most 1989p mint Mark Washington quarters aren't worth more than face value, if you happen to have one in outstanding condition, you could be sitting on a small treasure trove. It's a perfect example of how the world of coins isn't just about history, but also about opportunity. Sometimes in the most unexpected places. So, take a look at your change, check the details of your 1989p quarters, and you might just find a hidden gem. If you ever happen upon a high-grade specimen, who knows, you might find yourself a millionaire in the world of coins. Thank you for joining me today to explore the incredible story behind the 1989p mint Mark Washington quarter. Keep an eye out for those hidden treasures in your pocket.